Tamil anthology Navarasa is more than just a creative project that has brought talented creators and actors together. This venture is actually for an extremely noble cause. The Tamil industry, like many other industries, was severely hit financially due to the pandemic, the long gestation period that put many people out of work and extremely helpless. Navarasa, a venture headed by Mani Ratnam and Jayendra, is aimed at helping 12,000 plus Film Employees Federation of South India workers. And in this process, none of the actors have taken salary for their respective projects. The industry in many ways has come together to provide for individuals that have had a tough time during the pandemic, and such an effort is only to be praised. The anthology showcases 9 stories with an average running time of close to 30 minutes, and each story represents a particular emotion. Roping in some of the most legendary creators and talented actors, this one was quite the monumental task to finish, write a piece on, and present my thoughts in a cohesive manner. Irrespective, I've tried my best, and what I will be doing is telling you my favorite stories from the anthology in ascending order. This may of course vary with all of you, but I'll exactly tell you why I have this particular order in mind. Similarly, in the comments below, do tell me your favorite picks from the anthology and why they stood out for you. So without further ado, here are my picks from Navarasa in ascending order so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch it on Netflix or not. Number 9 for me goes to Beyond Courage, exploring the emotion of courage. This short has been directed by Shanmugan Muthuswamy, P. Kinslin, and Venkat Mohan. The short focuses on a new recruit that has been put in a situation of combat with Naxals in the deep jungles, fresh out of training. The short specifically showcases the events that take place as he is given the responsibility he never envisioned, the task of transporting a wily captor to the local police. The conversations that take place in the process that explores motivations, reasons, and personal hurdles that both individuals endure while contrastingly being in combat with one another is the essence of Beyond Courage. What you can without a doubt praise this short for is the work done by director of photography Sudarshan Srinivasan, especially the way he has captured the back and forth of the firing between the officials and the Naxal group in the initial stages of this short. Another plus point of this short is its music, especially as a character reminisces about the origins of the marginalized group. The reason why this short suffers is because its intention is praiseworthy. It genuinely tries to explore a topic that is layered and not as objective as it may seem, but its execution is where it completely falters, providing you context and history about characters abruptly, not letting them sink into the pulse of the viewer. Inadvertently, it never really emotionally invests you. Even the acting performances seem stiff, especially being clear in a sequence where an official is asking for help from the staff in a hospital. It is the sloppy screenplay of this short that is its biggest downfall. While it brings up important topics like the best solution between reform versus elimination and what groups really stand for, it only shines for its technical aspects initially, but falters to get you emotionally invested. Number 8 goes to SHANTHIH, exploring the emotion of peace. This short is directed by Karthik Subbaraj, and I generally had a lot of expectations from this film, especially for the premise that it was exploring. The story focuses on the civil war for Elam taking place, specifically a group that is fortifying its bunker in the front line. The group comes across a little boy that is in the pursuit to find a member of his family. The empathy that it generates within one of the soldiers, creating a parallel with his own life, takes it upon himself to make sure the little boy is reunited with his loved one. The film momentarily but successfully sheds light on the psychological state of the men and children of war and how it shapes them in the future and the sentiment and unified goal they fought for. The film beautifully also captures a long shot of movement of one of the soldiers while there is cross-firing taking place between both groups. While I acknowledge that the message that the film was trying to communicate with respect to trying to understand whether there is any human empathy and kindness left, even when humans are at war, its execution only sporadically impacts you. I was actually thinking about scenes that could have been heightened had more time been spent on the simpler moments. The moment your faith in humanity will be restored, Subbaraj has a way to snatch that illusion and take it away from you. A premise that could have soared but led only to an average impact with the viewer. Number 7 goes to PAYASAM, exploring the emotion of disgust. This short, directed by Vasant S. Sai, is based in 1965 and opens with a quote of Diane Ackerman, which states that fear is danger to your body, but disgust is danger to your soul. It sheds light on an individual that is envious of his nephew's success and how the insecurity and resentment of this individual manifests in one of his nephew's daughter's wedding. One of the only reasons why you feel drawn into this world created is because of a beautiful performance by Delhi Ganesh. The individual is petty, holds grudges for years, latches onto the beautiful memories he has of his family and doesn't do anything to change his predicament, and what he thinks is best fit is to complain about it. He is representative of many individuals we can identify from our own personal circles, an annoyance that exists within individuals which is just a projection of their incompetence in taking reins of their own life. A beautiful scene shared with his wife and a petty and hilarious climax aside, the film only fleetingly captures the animosity and lingering disgust that exists in this uncle-nephew dynamic. Aditi Balan is convincing but doesn't really have much in the writing to flex her acting chops in the film. When the film concluded, you are left with wanting more and are only convinced momentarily of the world you were transported to. Number 6 goes to Summer of '92, exploring the emotion of laughter. This short, directed by Priyadarshan, takes inspiration from the real-life anecdotes of former MP and actor Varidh. The premise explores a popular actor that is invited to his alma mater to speak about the several experiences he has had in school. While the short is intended to explore the emotion of laughter, it can be best described as a light and breezy journey rather than a hysterical one. The popular actor played by Yogi Babu recounts the several instances where he rubbed teachers the wrong way, halting his progression in school, the various characters that he comes across, and providing an insight on fate and how life has its twisted ways of writing a story for all of us. What the film successfully does is transport you to the 90s. The set design and the world created is impeccable, probably making you reminisce about a simpler time. While the movie in its initial stages will make you believe that this isn't as hilarious as you anticipated, it beautifully progresses into a conclusion that will leave you in splits, something reminiscent of why we fell in love with Priyadarshan comedies in the first place. A film that could have packed in more laughs but still provided an enjoyable viewing experience. Number 5 goes to ROUDHRAM, exploring the emotion of anger. The film, directed by Arvind Swamy, explores the story of a boy that is detained for physical assault, the events that led to the action, and the repercussions faced by the family immediately and in the long run. While socially this film is something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, it is probably the most technically impressive film from the anthology. Colorist Srijit Sarang, DOP Santosh Sivan, and the music by A.R. Rahman shine in this film. The theme captured is essentially showcased in the initial quote, which states that the heart consumes the venom of anger, becomes the forest ablaze, and destroys everything. Anger is explored as a projection of the unfortunate phase of life that the characters are in: financially unstable, a sorry living condition, and an unpredictable future. It all manifests into anger, mostly being projected to your closest ones. In this storyline especially, it is Geeta Kalisam as the mother that shines. She is a product of her experiences, pragmatic of her position in life, helpless and emotional in the state that she finds her children in. She puts forth a very emotional and beautiful performance to even attempt to make this short worthwhile. Another short film that shines in spurts but could have soared if it explored in vivid detail the long-term effects on children due to the toxic environments of households. Number 4 goes to Enemy, exploring the emotion of compassion. Directed by Bijoy Nambiar, this film focuses on a man that unleashes years of pent-up rage on an individual having wronged a close one in the past. The aftermath that includes regret, resentment, and a journey to seek for a morsel of empathy as two paths collide, both dealing with the unfortunate event, is the storyline of this short. I'm a huge sucker for the visual grammar of Bijoy Nambiar films, and you can literally identify the creator as a few minutes of the film pass. Beyond the visuals, it is the background score and music by Govind Vasant that really hooks you in. The film, in a subtle fashion, explores how we are never in control of how others may feel about our actions. Can we identify our experiences and trauma not manifesting in the same cyclical fashion, something that we wanted to steer away from? How blurred do the lines get regarding compassion, empathy, and kindness when one feels wronged? Will we ever get past blaming ourselves for every unfortunate incident? And is there anyone ever that can truly forgive us for our sins? The additional dialogues provided by Vijay Sethupathi himself explores these facets brilliantly. While Prakash Raj and Sethupathi are spectacular in their performances, it is definitely Revati that shines and emotionally hooks you in. Number 3 goes to Tugging at My Guitar Strings, exploring the emotion of love. This one is probably the most breezy, light-hearted, and genuinely fun films of the anthology. The language that the film explores is of music, and one of the main reasons why it has the longest running time among the stories is because it takes a deep dive in the songs being created, as it provides insight to the characters. Whenever I think about Gautam Menon movies, it is the courting process, the development of infatuation, and the meet cute that really stands out for me. These initial moments between characters are simplistic, the chemistry between them and the natural dialogues between them draw you in, helplessly making you smile as a viewer. This was my experience with this short. It's simplistic with the fact that it explores two characters, artists attracted to one another, simplistic in form that it explores being unexplainably drawn to someone, yet complex, as it sheds light on love, something that has no objective reasoning. What I found refreshing about the story also was that usually in films we expect the men to be taking the first step, but it is the character of Prayaga Martin who initiates the discourse in this case, a character that is just sure of herself. The music by Karthik and a great performance by Surya of course are its highlights, and this one really does, honestly, put a smile on your face. Number 2 goes to Project AGNI, exploring the emotion of wonder. This short, directed by Karthik Narain, will be the biggest surprise for you in this anthology, because my experience and oscillating emotions range from absolute skepticism to intrigue to absolute shock in its climax. The film focuses on an individual that is obsessed and fixated on a radical theory on human consciousness and the ideas, potential and risks he shares with a friend in one night. Without giving heavy details, the film tries to shed light on concepts such as ancient civilizations, the illusion that is free will, the theory of the world being a computer simulation, the concept of there existing two worlds, and the power that exists in having the ability to tap into what is already predestined. The film skillfully progresses in its screenplay, probably making you think that this is just mumbo jumbo being said between two characters, but it shockingly draws you in so much that you actually crave for more in its conclusion. This is one of those shots that can easily transform into its own world and a full feature film, as it has so much potential with the themes and characters it explores. A film that is clever and will undoubtedly drop your jaw in its concluding moments. Number 1 for me goes to INMAI, exploring the emotion of fear. The film, directed by Ratendra R. Prasad, hands down is my favorite from the anthology. Before I rave about the story, can I just say how bloody talented Siddharth is? It's a shame that we don't see him that often in films, because it is truly a disservice to the immense talent he possesses. The film focuses on the turn of events that take place when, on what comes across as a routine visit, an individual arrives at someone's house. If you want to look at a film that skillfully presents a rather basic situation but explores a can of worms with such brilliance, so much so that it was like peeling countless layers of onions and it keeps on giving you more and more, it is this film. The film, through a conversation between two people, explores context, history, origins, morals, and especially the situation that one may face when confronted with their worst fear. This storyline hauntingly progresses, bringing chills down your spine. Through the impeccable screenplay and the convincing performances, it integrates folklore, mythology, and concepts of karma beautifully, and it builds just perfectly, never making you sense any lethargy in its storytelling. And it will truly amaze you on how hauntingly it shapes up, making it definitely my favorite from the 9 stories. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what were your favorite stories from the anthology. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.